Rick Simpson came out with a movie. Haven't seen this movie? Rick Simpson, Run from the Cure. It's free on YouTube. Google it or search it. Rick Simpson, Run from the Cure. You learn all about it.
Great. Well, to finish up Sierra's story, and then we only have a few more minutes, she is in a fight. DCFS showed up. They refused to take the child away from the home, so that was good. They went away, but she was still in this battle. So what they ended up having to do was put him back on chemo, but she's also continuously giving him the cannabis oil as well, and trying to get edibles or whatever she can in his system. And again, they go through a company or a non-for-profit organization called Realm for Caring, and they are having, when Sierra moved out there, they're having like 300 to 1,000 families relocate out there for this oil, which leads me to the next company that I found out about, HempMeds PX. They sell the pharmaceutical grade or really potent CBD only oil because it's legal to ship in all 50 states.
They take the male plant. They take the male plant that has no THC. So
right. That's also the cannabis sativa. I did a little bit of research and found that the two different strains of the plant, cannabis sativa is the one with the most cannabinoids or the cannabidiol, CBD. The cannabis indica is the one with the higher THC psychoactive ingredients in it. So if you don't want the psychoactive ingredients, because it is legal in most states, then you can get the CBD from HempMeds PX. They have different potencies on there, different things that, go ahead.
So what I'm hearing Ian say is if you want to beat
cancer free, because they work together, because it regulates your central nervous system, and then it also helps your immune system. And if you've listened to any of the speakers over the weekend, the one big thing that everyone has said is you have to activate that immune system. And you have to get that.
THC kills cancer cells.
Right.
So.
And you can find a lot more information online. Like I said, this is all really, really new to me, and I am still learning. But I cannot deny the research that I have found, and more science is coming out with it. As the days go by, they've probably known all along, right? But we want to make sure now that we can exercise our voice and our choice with informed consent. Yes.
What about animals, dogs?
What about dogs? Why not? Why? You think about it. It was growing freely everywhere in its natural state. It's been used for thousands and thousands of years, from textiles to concrete to fuel.
It works better on animals because they don't have the mental thing to deal with.
So you've heard of dogs being
cured of
people, I'm sure they give it to their animals.
No, my buddy just did that. I know tons of people.
I'm a veterinarian, and
yes,
they have. I didn't know that you sitting in front of me.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, Vermont has an all-natural place that they do.
Wonderful.
For dogs and cats, mostly dogs. I forgot what it's called, but they have been doing a lot of that.
Nice. And thank you, by the way, for even looking into holistic veterinarian care.
Oh,
I often say animals get treated better than our own babies, don't they? At least they get to nurse without being interrupted for the first 10 weeks.
The medical profession financially has jumped on the bandwagon, and now we're shipping them off to Boston to get chemo and all this other crap. The animals have been way ahead of the natural medicine thing, way ahead of the curve.
Yeah.
But now that they can make money,
right,
they're starting to go the other way.
Absolutely. I worked for a vet years ago who was getting big money from pharma to write reports and things like that. Trips to Denmark, all family paid. Yeah, it's pretty nuts.
But another, just a personal thing, if you ever do try it yourself and you're not used to smoking weed, I'd definitely recommend smoking some joints first and get used to that feeling. But 5% of the people, I'd highly recommend that even if you don't have cancer.
It's good for your central nervous system.
It's way better than Prozac. It's way better than Prozac. I would never do Prozac. Where was I going with that?
Just too potent.
Right, so take a bit. Oh, and 5% I found of the people that I've known try it just can't do it. Just can't handle the high. They end up in an ER, and then they send them home
because
and say,
go read a book.
Much.
Go read a book.
Because that's,
but don't stop at Taco Bell.
You can't die. You can't, just so you know, you cannot die of a marijuana overdose. You can put in 3 grams your very first time. You're not going to die. You're going to feel
like going to ride for your life.
You're on acid. Some people feel like they're on acid, like tripping, and they can't handle it. And then I can usually talk them through it. You can talk people through it to say, hey, breathe, just control your breath, get under the covers, get warm and cozy, and you can ride it through. And once your system gets used to it, that one little half a grain that made you high, so you thought you're gonna die, you can do a whole gram of it, and it's nothing.
What is the standard dose? What are cancer patients doing, like end-stage cancer patients?
At least a gram a day.
How long does it take to work it up to that dosage?
Oh, it probably
like, so you start off with a grain of rice from what you told me.
I would even say a half a grain of rice, like a little white grain of rice, maybe half, and try that, and then get the whole one, and then 2, 3, 4, 5. And they say 20 grains of rice is like a gram. So that's what you want to work your way up to. And then I know people like the Landons, or maybe Riddle. It might have been the other one, but one of them. Oh, it was Brandon and Kez Frenzler. And baby Michaela.
Okay.
There's so many.
We unfortunately, we have to consult one another to try to remember the stories that we cover on this. But
yeah,
baby Michaela.
They're one of the ones that sort of like are cancer free now, but they're still being forced chemo for 2 years because
so they keep giving the cannabis. Because here's the thing, Sierra figured this. If I give Landon to them, if I fight them and say, no, I'm going to stand on my parental rights, I'm not going to let them take my child, you cannot do this to me, they'll do it anyway. They'll take him out of her control, and then she can't give him anything. And that's what happened to our friend Jay. He had no nutritional power over his daughter. They wouldn't let him bring in raw foods because there could be bacteria in it, and that she's catching MRSA and staph infections, and they're having to go in there and with their hands scrape off more tumors off of this poor girl's lungs because now it's spread because they keep giving her sugar. There are over 22,750 studies in the National Library of Medicine that show the sugar cancer connection. So, and this doctor and the oncologist there, when he says, I don't want my daughter on sugar, he'll argue with them and basically tell him, pull that, I'm the authority, I'm the doctor, I'm the oncologist, this is my specialty, you don't know what you're talking about, I'll give her whatever I want. And that's what they do. So he has been totally stripped of his rights and is fighting them. DCFS doesn't want to be involved anymore in that particular case in Chicago. And the guardian ad litem that what the hospital appointed won't let it go. Because, he spoke out. I mean, he suffered retribution, as did we, for even speaking out about it. Yes.
You mentioned parentalrights.org a while ago. What did you mention right before that? I missed the first.
Oh, just that some people say that we already have the proper legislation in place for us to exercise our parental rights. But my statement to them is go ahead and try. Go ahead and try. Get in that situation and go ahead and try and see how you end up, because every parent will sit there and say, but I'm the parent. I think I have this right over my child. And until it happens, everybody is just really ignorant. Until it happens to you, you have no clue that the ride that you can go on after that with parental rights or lack thereof, or the infringement of,
So if they're not in a state or in a situation, say somebody gets a cancer diagnosis on their child, would it be in their best advice to pretend like they're going to go along with treatment, but they want to get it at some other treatment center? You can't
pretend to go along with treatment. They will seek you out. Once it's diagnosed by an oncologist, you're already in the system.
That's the thing. Your only hope.
That is. What do you do?
If you flee the country?
That's it.
That's your only option.
You can flee the country, but you can't come back unless you cure them. You got to cure them, and then they'll come back and they'll say, "Oh, it's a misdiagnosis. You're off the hook." But if for some reason you don't, because it's not 100%, you can't come back. So go to jail.
I'm hearing you talk about a pound of marijuana to make this small vial of what
oil.
Expense are we talking about?
Okay, a pound of marijuana to make the 2 ounces of oil is in California. You can go legally buy a pound of marijuana for $3,550. Okay, this is why hardly people get it because it's too expensive. And then you got to make that. It takes at least 24 hours to boil that down and do it right. It's a hard process. The guys I know what they're doing, because you don't want to mess around with people that don't.
A lot of it's done in a lab too. You have access to labs.
Yeah. So.
But it is expensive. Not as expensive, So.
But sorry,
Go ahead.
There's better prices than that. Like I know this Angel network that charge I think it's $50 per 10 milliliters. It's like $500 for a 10 milliliter thing. That's what it is. And you need that would last 10 days if you're up to your cold dose. So you actually need about 6 of those, at least 60 grams. They say, or milligrams, whatever it is. and that's going to cost you at least $2,500 to $3,000 street value. And then depending on what dispensaries you go to in the state, some of them are kind and they're like, here, we made it for free or very cheap. Others want to make money, so it's kind of hard to. But that's the average price. I'd say $2,000 to $3,000 for the 3 to 4 month cure, average.
Yeah.
So this that they're doing in the lab, are they doing it organically?
I think there probably are some. This is the realm. This is the thing that I don't know a thing about. I'm like, I know what CBD does, and I know, but as far as like the street thing and how and where to get it, yeah, I'm not.
Well, that's
familiar
why
with
I
that.
make sure people come through me, because everything that I recommend, or if I have to make a phone call to somebody, I've tried it myself. I'm probably taking it myself, or was, you know what I mean? So, and now I'm just hooked up with labs, professional labs, and they make it with,
organic.
yeah, they're organic. They make it with Everclear, and not, there's no bad solvents. So, I've been
No
looking.
preservatives and
Thanks to
things.
my friend Ronnie Smith, I've been educated on this for over a year now, and I'll get down and gritty with these people and hang with them and make sure it's the real deal. So,
Yeah.
I
So
think
thank
that's
you
our
for coming
time, too,
today.
isn't it?
Yeah, we are done. But thank you. Thank you. And I can always make one last announcement too. We are not medical doctors. We do not We are only doing this for educational and informational purposes only. And we do not diagnose, treat, or suggest treatment for any ailment or illness. So thank you.
And I punch out oncologists.